Elise, hello everyone, welcome back. So as you can see, actually you can't really tell, but I am back in California. So I am here, but what this video is about, it's not about that. This is about if you made it through and saw my visa video and you have gotten your visa, and congratulations, you are now in Spain and are looking to find a place to live. This video is for you, especially if you're living in Granada. I'm sure some of this will be helpful for people that are just living in Spain in general, but I'm going to give more specifics as to like where to live in Granada and like just safe places and things like that. So stay tuned and I'll show you a little bit of that. And yes. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to show you guys a few of the words that you will learn when you're looking for an apartment in Spain. The first one is a piso. So a piso is an apartment, and it could be any regular schmegular apartment. Next is planta, and planta is the floor that it would be on. So if it's in the segunda planta, it's gonna be the second floor. I know for a lot of Hispanics, they call the rooms cuartos, but in more proper Spanish terms, they would be called habitaciones, and that's used within the Latin community as well. And then the next one is called the CALEFACCIÓN, and this is heating. So it's very important to ask that when you are looking and talking to people about the apartment that you are interested in getting. So those are a few of the words, and I'll put them here again just so you guys could remember them. Finally, this is not really a definition of a word, but more of how they organize apartments. Because I know over here in the States, they would do just number. Over there, they organize it either by saying on the floor, it would be izquierda, derecha, y centro. So that's how they would organize it, or they would just do ABC on that certain floor. So not something too different, but just something to realize. Okay, so now to share with you guys where to start looking. So like I mentioned before, what I did a lot with everyone from my group, and it was a good bonding experience. And also, you got your steps in, and you get to know the city where you're gonna live in a little bit more because you're just walking around. So that thing is to just walk around the city, especially in Granada because it's smaller. So you could literally walk throughout the whole city and look on walls, on pillars, literally everywhere. And you're gonna see flyers, and then they have like a strip with a number on it. You just peel that off and call them, and they should answer and set up a time with you, and you are good to go see the apartment. And then another thing we did was to go on websites and apps. I know idealista.com is a good one. I think that one has an app. And then there's also piso.com. And those are very good because they have pictures of what the apartments looks like. So you're not going to be wasting your time if you don't even know what an apartment looks like if you want to go through that route. So it's very good. You don't really have to do as much phone calls if you're kind of nervous about that. You could email them, it like translate the message for you if you're not really too proficient in Spanish. So those are good websites for that. So for the last two places, one of them is Facebook. So you could use Facebook through the Facebook groups, and the one that I joined is called Pisos in Granada, and you just ask to join that, and then they'll accept you. And there's gonna be people with a whole bunch of apartments that you could view, and like the same thing, you can ask questions on there. A lot of them already have like descriptions. They could tell you how much is a month, and they're gonna have pictures, so that's nice as well. And then the next final thing is gonna be agencies, which I don't really recommend, but they are there for you guys if you guys are nervous and don't really wanna go on the search for yourself. But the agencies are available that could find you places, but they are gonna cost you money. Okay, so now that you have the person's number that you wanna call or a list, I would suggest getting a lot of apartments and setting up a lot of appointments to go see different apartments, see as many as you want. So when to call now is a big thing because you are in Spain now and they have siesta and they believe in that. It's the real thing. So they take their break at that time, so you shouldn't call them during that time. So the time that you should call them is 8:30 to 2:30 and then 4:30 to 9:30. Think about it professionally. You wouldn't call your boss at 10 o'clock at night or before 8:30 in the morning. So a good thing about living in Granada, if you are living there, is that the prices for the apartments are actually a little bit cheaper. You should be looking at to live in Granada in a piso, in a room by yourself, is around 190 to 300 euros. And I paid 275 for mine, if you guys saw my my room tour, my house piso tour. Another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of the places thankfully come furnished, so you do not have to worry about buying a whole couch or buying a whole bed. Okay, so for now, all my Granada people, I'm gonna help you guys with trying to decide where to actually live. So what part of Granada, which parts are safer and which parts are maybe ones to avoid. And this is from just my own knowledge and also from people that I know have been living there for a while and what they recommend. So to start off, the places that I think are a bit safer are Plaza Nueva, which is the area where I lived, and it is only 5 minutes from where I went to school at the CLM. So if you go through CSUIP, this is probably where you will be studying as well. And it's only a 5-minute walk from Plaza Nueva. And it's super nice. It is always filled with entertainment. It's close to the all like the viewpoints, like the San Miguel Alto. It's also close to like the downtown area where like there's like the shopping and all that. Okay, so the next place is Camino de Ronda, and I had a lot of friends that lived here. And this is the street where pretty much all the college students live. So that is probably because it's close to the bars, the gyms, or like the bigger gyms are closer over there. And it's a nice area. It's very social. They have a lot of restaurants over there too. And it's not as touristy as Plaza Nueva because you're going to see a lot of tourists in Plaza Nueva. So if you want to be more inside of the local Granada, then that's all the way, so it's not that far. It's like 20 to 30 minutes walk from the CLM if you are comparing from that. Another one is just on Recogidas, which is the main street that will lead you from Plaza Nueva to Camino de Ronda. And that one's a bit closer, and I know a lot of friends that lived on there, so it's a good balance between the two if you don't want to live too far out and if you don't want to live too close or where there's a lot of tourists. It's right in the middle of the both, so you have the best of both worlds. And the last place would just be literally in the center, so where all the stores are at. So if you are in Granada, you have seen that there's just a lot of buildings, and so on top of different stores there's going to be apartments and stuff like that. So even in the centro where they have like the Arabian like stores, there's a lot of them on top of there, which I know a lot of people that live there too, and they're nice areas as well. Places that I really wouldn't recommend would be the HABITACION, just because it could be a little bit sketch at night, and it's also kind of hard for the police to get up there because there isn't a lot of streets where cars can pass through. So that's just for safety reasons. It could get kind of sketchy, so, but you can do it at your own risk, but probably not. I would recommend not. But it's really nice to walk through in the day if you want to go through there. And then, so now finally we're gonna get to the questions that you should ask the people when you're either meeting with them, when you're chatting with them, or when you're talking to them on the phone. So a question you could ask to start off is if the heating is through essentially water heated radiators or electric water heaters. So something that we would recommend, when I say me, I mean like people that I've talked to. That's what I mean. So what we would recommend is centrally water heated radiators, just because they are easier on your break count and just easier to deal with overall too. Another question you guys is, does the hot water run on electric or gas? And this is important because a lot of them have the bottled gas, which can be really inconvenient because once that's out, you have to call them and have them come pick it up and replace it. So if you're out of it, you want to take a hot shower, you can't do it until you get it back. So you should avoid having those. The other thing you should ask is who's going to be living in the Piso with you. So these are going to be your roommates all year, and a lot of them are going to be people that you know or that you just met in your program. So a lot of people are going to be from all around the world, different ages, different genders. So that is something definitely you should ask them if you're not comfortable living with an older person, or if you're not comfortable living with someone from the opposite gender, you should ask them that. Another thing that's important to ask is if the utilities are included in the price that they're giving you for the rent. So for me, I paid $275 for it, but I also had to pay $50 a month for the utilities. You ask them if the utilities are included. It's just better for you to know, so you don't get any surprises later on down the road. Another thing to ask is if they have washers, and they're not gonna have dryers, so just washers. A lot of the apartments, if you saw in my Piso tour, we just have like the things that unfolds and you just like hang your clothes or the clip things outside. So another question that's really important is how long your contract is for. So if you tell them, and they're willing to negotiate with you, so if you say I'm leaving in June or I'm leaving at the end of May, like a lot of people will negotiate with you and be like, okay, that's when your contract ends. But make sure you talk to them and ask to them when the contract ends and if they're willing to work with you to maybe even find someone else to rent the room for the rest of the summer. Okay, so the last question you should ask is how, when, and where you're going to be paying the rent. And this is important because a lot of them could be kind of confusing, so just make sure you know like where you're going to pay the rent and when. So a lot of people make it easy and you just give the landlord the money cash and everything is a-okay. But for example, for me, unless I wanted to pay with them at like their office with the card and I'd get charged like $15 every time I'd use it, I would either have to do that option or I would have to go to a bank that they told me about and have to give them cash, and then they would put it into their bank account. So it's like a bank transfer at that bank. So it was a little bit confusing, but not too bad. But you know, you should just know where you should be paying rent, and also obviously when to pay it. So it could be the first of the month, the last day that you could pay it, and things like that. And then before you sign anything, very important is that you, especially if you are in the CSUA program, you go to Christian or Maria Jose and take the contracts before you sign it. Just make sure you go to them and make sure you're getting a legitimate contract and that it doesn't have anything in there that could affect you in the future. Make sure you double check it, translate it, ask a friend that you know lives there. I think that's the best thing you could do, just so you don't get yourself in a contract that could end badly later on. So I think that is all. If you guys have any questions, just let me know down below. And I hope this helps anyone. And yeah, you guys are now living your best lives in Spain, and I wish I could be there. So, but no, I'm here studying school, like 6 classes, actually 7 with a lab. Let's just say I wish I could be in Spain, so enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoy and have an amazing year, and let me know if you guys have any other video recommendations, and find yourself a place to live and decorate it real cute. Okay, adios everyone. That was a little Louis' life moment.